Hi, everybody. I'm Greg. I'm a paranormal investigator with Shadowhunters Paranormal Investigations and Events. I'm also a empath and a medium, and I'm working quite a bit on my clairs and trying to go ahead and get myself back into remote viewing down the road here. So that's where I'm at, and I'm going to go ahead and talk a minute about some of the things that are going on with Shadowhunters. We had a switch, so this week was a little like the desert. There were only two shows, Sharon's show and my show, that were on this week. So next week we should be back to a full house. So, you know, like when it starts on Sundays, you got Jen's show from down in Indiana and Jen Hodgson's show. Monday, you have Psychics Unite that starts at 6:30. Tuesday night is going to be Devin Evans' show. And Devin's a psychic medium. Wednesday's show is going to be Scotty Rourke's, and that's Scotty Talks About. Thursday is going to be the Oracle cards with Sharon Moritz. So that's that. And then I come up Friday with the Shadow Hour. And then Nick's got the show that's on YouTube on Saturday. If you get a chance to check that out. And I want to say it's YouTube Experience. And I hope I'm right on that. From there, I wanted to go ahead and mention something that I've been mentioning for the last couple of weeks because of a close person in the paranormal field, who's Fred from Spirit Recon, had some surgery, and he still needs our prayers. So if you could take a moment to go ahead and say a prayer for him for his speedy recovery and his back to health, that would be great. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and start it up. And tonight we have Onae Shinn, and we have Greg Bakun. And Onae, I want to say, is from Wisconsin, if I'm right, I think.
Nope, I am from Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona.
Yes.
Close.
Not even with a hand grenade. And then we got Greg Bakun from Minnesota Ghost Box. And Onae's a psychic medium. Greg helps Onae with her show and vice versa. I imagine that I've seen Onae quite a few times on Greg's show, which is I see it on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock, and that's on Minnesota Ghost Box. And it's a great show, and it's spirit boxes. And to all those people out there that are really interested, this is a way of communication that we've been using for going ahead and connecting with spirits from the other side. And Greg is quite the expert as far as how he handles his show, and he handles the people that are on it, that come and have the questions. And it's like a balancing act where you go ahead and you're taking all these different questions and trying to pick up the right responses from the spirit box to go ahead and piece it together. It's a giant puzzle, and you do it, and you do a great job.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that I'm going to have to take some more time and spend more time on watching your show. I catch it every once in a while, but I'm so busy on my end too that it's hard to spread yourself out so thin that you don't even need an inch and you go right through on the ice. I would. So tonight you guys are up at, you said, the Calumet Inn
in Pipestone, Minnesota. Yep.
In Pipestone, Minnesota, and this is a location that they've been using. They've been going to, and they've been knocking on the door and talking to spirits, and there's a lot of friendly spirits in there that are people that have frequented the establishment over the years and decided they wanted to stay. So it's a big friendly atmosphere. I watched the one night before when Greg was there, and it was really interesting in the respect that they are actually legitimately respectful compared to a lot of other places that you would go to and you would have, bad stuff happening. Things coming at you the wrong way. They're a little critical, probably basically because they're just trying to communicate with you, but at the same time, it turns out that they're just merely trying to communicate. We're taking it the wrong way. So, what are you going to do tonight, Greg, on your investigation, Onae?
First of all, we're here with a bunch of other people who are hiding, not wanting to come on camera to say hi, but believe me, they're really here. And it's kind of a bit of just casual. There we go. That's John. And we are. It's going to be casual. We're going to do some investigation. There isn't like a mission per se. We always are just wanting to reach out to spirit, but it's friends getting together and just kind of being able to enjoy a place that we love. And one thing I did want to point out, because we're in the pub right now, which is where we were when you saw me that one night, Greg, doing it. And behind me, can't really see, so I'm going to move. On the fireplace is all the people who were regulars who have passed away, and those are the people that we remember and we like to reach out to because they should never be forgotten, especially here.
Right. That's a key to the whole building.
Yes, it's a big part. And when we were here, we had to clean up a mess of another paranormal team. I don't even call them a team, but they made a kind of a mess energetically and physically of the place. And so we came in to just cleanse it is one word, but we just wanted to clear the air with the regulars here and let them know that this is not how paranormal investigation works. This is not how people who respect spirits treat a location like this or any location. So it was something like we had a big knot and we had to untie it. And we felt like that we had some success that night for sure.
Well, that's awesome that you had the time to turn it around compared to what it was, because that's always very difficult to handle, especially on, say, one trip.
Yes.
Let alone come up with anything that, with anything positive at the end. So
yeah.
I just want to say, Onae, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know a little bit about yourself? I'm sorry that I didn't start that out that way.
That's fine. No worries. I am a psychic medium and a tarot card reader. I was born and raised in a family of intuitives and readers. And so I am raising my children, or I've raised my children, they're all adults now, in the same manner. So basically what I do is I have my website and I have my Facebook Lives and I read cards. I do free readings for free one-question readings on my Facebook Lives, and then I do move around a lot as far as doing events, and especially in flying back and forth to Minnesota and Wisconsin, because that's where I have a lot of clientele, and basically, really, that's it. I think.
I was peeking the last couple of days on the Facebook page. So I saw a lot of stuff about Altoona.
Oh, yes.
And, you know.
I used to live in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and
Okay.
I was like right there at the borderline, like right where the sign was for the borderline for Altoona, Wisconsin. And there is a family restaurant. It's called the Altoona Family Restaurant, and I love it. I'm a regular. And every time I come back to Wisconsin and Minnesota area, I always go there, and they still remember my order. So my regular order of potato pancakes. So just in case you want some, they're the best.
That's awesome. You know, I always we used to go through the Eau Claire area when we were going up to the Chippewa Flowage all the time. So we were always, you know, busting through before they improved all the roads there and made them into highways now. So you don't have to go through Eau Claire or anymore, Chippewa Falls, anything like that. That's all highway now. So, well, that's awesome. You know, I'm glad you're here. And what I was talking about earlier with Psychics Unite, if you would look it up.
I think I'm actually a member.
Awesome.
I did an event or a gallery once with Scotty, actually.
Oh, you did?
Years ago when I lived in Wisconsin.
Well, Scotty's like my mentor now.
He's a great guy. He really is.
Yes. And we get together every week on here.
Oh, wow. That's great.
On Monday nights. So if you had an opportunity to stop on in, it's a great group of people, and it's from all over. So I don't think you're going to be the one that's farthest away.
Well, that'll be fun. I will join in. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. And so let's go right through the spirit box again. And why don't you just give everybody a big breakdown as far as your preparation on a night when you get ready to do it, so that when later on, when we bring it out, you won't have to really spend that time to go ahead and talk to people about it.
So when I do a regular Sunday night spirit box session, one of the things that I find is very key, and Greg, you'll know that this is doing investigations for many years. One thing that we always have to do, regardless of how casual we are talking with spirits, is that you want to protect yourself. And you want to be able to protect your loved one, especially even if you're not with me doing a spirit box session. We're all putting forth our intention. So what we want to do is we want to just kind of ground ourselves by putting, just thinking about protection and thinking about, starting from your heart. Protection kind of comes out from your heart and it covers you. And I ask that people who are at home right now wanting to listen or putting forth their intention for loved ones to come through, that you think about that, you make that. You don't have to, but there is such a real thing as spirit attachment. We're a great big beacon at the moment, and we don't want to have anyone get oppressed by spirit attachment because spirit loves your energy or something. That energy belongs to you. It doesn't belong to anyone else. And once you make that protection, you can just move it out to everywhere. And I'm already getting chills even by just doing that, of like you're covering everybody. You're covering everyone in your house. You want to protect your pets and everyone else because, nothing should happen. We only want to speak to spirits of love and above, love and light. But you just want to be prepared. That's all.
That's awesome. Now, have you done your show at the radio station too?
As far as doing like spirit box session?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I did a show. One of my episodes of the radio show was me talking about my philosophy and my beliefs with paranormal investigation and how I like to do it. And I played some evidence, and I did have some equipment in there just to see if it go off. But I feel like that's maybe at the moment, maybe a step that's a little bit more remote for, people who are not familiar with the concepts. I think it's one thing to play some stuff that we think is evidence, but to kind of just have people wade through and hoping that they hear something that's worthwhile to them. I think that's something that, I think is best suited for Facebook. So they can see me, I can see them, and I could be it's a captive audience of people who want that specific sort of communication.
I was curious because I was going to go ahead and say, how do you pull that one off when you're talking on the radio?
I wasn't even sure if even playing evidence would have worked, and I played some stuff for the station manager. I'm like, hey, if you think that this is something that people are going to be weirded out about, not even because of if we hear voices, but just the white noise, then we don't have to do it. And they're like, no, this is great, let's do it. And we tried it, and I got a fair amount of good feedback from it. So at some point, I'll do it again and go through and maybe pick out some stuff that I don't share very often.
How is the community up there around St. Michael's as far as the paranormal?
I think to be very honest, I think it's a little fragmented. Especially it doesn't help when you have COVID, and that there used to be Paracons up here where people can get together and interact and enjoy and share ideas. So right now they're planning. There's one that's being planned for July in Duluth, Minnesota. I mean, at the moment, I hope that it works out, but it still seems like based on Minnesota law at the moment, it seems like they could possibly be a little too soon. But that's why I think a lot of us currently are just sticking with friends and groups that we know and doing stuff. Like right now I'm with, we're with 2 other groups who are here and other paranormal investigators who are just enjoying it. And so, and that's the fun thing about this. We're not here as groups. We're here as people who enjoy doing it, leaving the monikers at the door and just like, let's see if we get anything. We're all just working together and having some fun.
Yeah, that when you brought that up about July up there in Duluth, it's like, we were talking Dale Kazmarek from GRS, who's one of the other group that I belong to. He's actually planning a trip to, I want to say it's Noping or Naping or
Nopiming, yep, right by Duluth, yep.
And I thought, wow, that would, if we could go ahead and get something together so that we could do that and then stop at the Paracon, that would even be better.
I've investigated Nopiming, and it's quite the place, yeah.
How would you rate it compared to another, say for something famous that you've been?
I would say that it's very interesting because it's so vast. It's so many buildings, it's so many floors, and we were walking around and someone thought they heard a hiss and everyone ran away, and I was just standing there like, what's the problem? It could be anything. Quite frankly, those buildings have been sitting relatively vacant for decades. It could be anything. Yeah. We were seeing spiders there the size of my hand. That's the sort of thing that I, absolutely do not, I'm more afraid of that than any kind of spirits. But we had a great time. It's a piece of history. It's a piece of tuberculosis hospital that had been shut down and full of asbestos, not safe, but we're just like, let's get in there. Let's see what we can get. I got some really great communication on the, I think the 6th floor. And it was a crazy night. Not bad, not evil, nothing nasty. It just was a crazy night full of lots of fun stuff.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is really awesome. I'm glad you told me that. Then I'll push for it for sure.
It's worth a try. It's expensive though, isn't it? They do charge a fair amount of money for it. But it's one of those things, and I was talking with somebody about it before, and it's just like, that's how a lot of these places are now. That's kind of how it works. Unfortunately, when I do events, we try to make it reasonable for people because we want to allow them the opportunity to experience it. A place like Nopiming or Villisca or any of those other places, Waverly Hills, they know what they got. They're also big places that have to pay some bills. So, just it is what it is. But if you want to check out these type of places, you're going to have to kind of pay some money for it, unfortunately.
Well, you've been to Mansfield, right?
No, I haven't been to Mansfield. No.
No, you haven't?
Mm-mm.
Post Town?
Nope.
We were at St. Albans in Virginia 2 years ago, and we did the Shawnee Amusement Park at that time.
Oh yeah.
And then I want to say last year we did, a friend of mine owns Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, in Tennessee. So we were there, and then we did Brushy Mountain Penitentiary, and that's got a real bad vibe to it.
Oh, does it? I did a number of years ago out in Newport, Kentucky. I did Bobby Mackey's.
Okay.
And that's the thing. That's one of those things that people are like, when I mention it, people are like, "Oh my gosh, you got to be so careful. You got to be so careful." No, there was nothing that was nasty. It's one of those places that I think people want you to try to think that it's scary, and you get there, and the caretaker of the place, Carl, he had passed away about a year or so beforehand. And we were allowed to go up. I think everyone is. I'm not saying it's like anything special, but we were allowed to go up to his apartment, and we got some really more angelic sort of spiritual communication than anything that's like nasty or dark, like they keep saying about that place.
Well, the only guy that was really killed downstairs was the one that he got punched or something, and his head hit a door jamb or something.
Yeah, I mean, they call it the portal to hell because of everything that's going on. But I was talking with somebody, her name is Shannon Bradley Byers, and she wrote a book that dispels a lot of those myths about these places. Like Waverly Hills, they say that like 30,000 people were killed, or not killed, but died there. And she did the research, and I'm not saying that all that research is always going to be 100% accurate, because there's always room for error, but she only comes up with about 6,000 names. And now, you think only, that's still a lot of people. But it's like, why do the shows promote some stuff like that so much bigger than what it really is? Because quite frankly, if someone said to me 6,000 people died at Waverly Hills, that to me would still get my attention. Going to Villisca, 8 people were killed. That got my attention, Right.
I know. And then as soon as you said the name, I'm going, why do I remember this name? And it's because she was on your radio show.
She was.
Right. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So what do you have planned for this coming year already? Any more investigations besides there?
Yes, we do. And Onae and I, as well with everyone who's in this room with us, we're, if I can do events again, we will. That's something that we're really missing out on. We're always open for private investigations and helping people, but also we're going to be reaching out to places that we find interesting and not places that everyone knows about. Just places that we look at and like, you know what, I wonder what's going on here, and reach out to them and explain our respectful way of reaching out to spirit and see if they'll allow us in, because, that's just it. We just want to be able to communicate and whatnot. And what do you got going on this year, apart from hopefully joining in on a lot of stuff that, we're doing?
I think I'm just kind of waiting to see. I would love to do events and go back on the road again as much as I can. But of course, doing investigations with you all here.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I want to get back to doing my mediumship galleries. And I miss all my people. I miss I miss the fun. And I miss communicating with the spirit and on a grand scale. So it keeps me busy. And so, otherwise I'm just sitting in a room by myself looking at a camera.
Yeah, you're with an amazing group of people, and your group of people too. The psychics, are just amazing, amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a tight group. And it's because everybody understands, how everybody is,
Mm-hmm.
on the outside where you can't say anything about any of that, really. Today, it's a little more open than it was.
Yeah.
But, when I was a little guy, boy, I was told when we left Gettysburg not to open my mouth when I got back home.
Yeah.
Because they think I was a nutcase. But,
right.
It was just the way it was. I'm going to say hello to a few people. Danny Botts is here, Linda Morrison. Do you guys have the comments on your side too?
Yes.
Okay. And then you got Linda Morrison. You get Jen Hodgson. She's another medium. Nida is here. She's a medium. Sharon Moritz is here. She's a medium. Linda Morrison comes to the shows. She's from LaPorte, Indiana. And then Julie Webster is a friend of Jen's, and she's part of the Psychics Unite group too. So it's interesting to see the people that are on here. It's great that they're here. We went ahead and pretty much carpet bombed the whole entire area with the billboards on this tonight. So we'll see what happens with the rest. So you guys, you gonna use any dowsing rods tonight or anything like that?
Brought some.
We brought some.
You know, it's one of those things where it's just like I for myself at least, I was looking to see what should I bring, what shouldn't I bring, and I brought basically everything because it's, you know, it's a playground in a way, you know, and it's one of the things that we did last time we were here. We set up a fog machine and we set up a laser grid, a really powerful laser grid, and we were able to see some movement in the lasers and stuff, and it was a lot of fun just to experiment. You know, all we're doing, as you would do, and everyone else out there, is just like seeing what is out there that we can pick up and what are different ways of reaching out to spirit that isn't maybe gets their attention. You know, is it bells? Is it dowsing rods? Is it pendulum? I mean, there's just so much that we can do, or just how do our bodies feel?
There was a couple shows on this last week that dealt with the British end of the investigations, and they have a group that comes on Facebook all the time, and they were out in the woods, and they had one of those fogs going on, so you could see, you know, how things. You could see the fog moving, but there was nothing there pushing it. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. So that was quite interesting. So do we have enough time to go ahead and do a spirit box session?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it runs over, is that okay, or you guys want to start at 8:00?
Well, let's kind of see where we go, right?
Okay.
See what happens. Yeah, because you know, as we always say, we never guarantee responses.
Right.
I'm going to change where I'm sitting a little bit because I want to be more comfortable when I do this. You won't be able to see me now. It's okay.
You gotta go ahead and let the pilot get in the chair, in the right chair.
I'm standing. I'm leaning up against the bar, which is not unusual for me. So first thing that I like to do is I just like to start by saying to spirits that, you know, introducing myself and everyone in the room. My name is Greg. We were hoping to reach out to any spirits tonight. Please use me as a conduit to come through and have your words come out of this box, as we just want to hear communication. If there's anybody who's out there who's maybe a family member is watching tonight, please feel free to say their name, reach out to them. And we only want spirits of love and above, and spirits of love and light. Once again, we don't guarantee any responses. Sometimes it takes a little while to get going, but we're going to do this. I have just an SB7 spirit box. It's a mass-produced one. I brought a couple others with me this week that are not mass-produced, but these work best on Facebook. I'm going to do it at 200 millisecond sweep, and I'm going to do reverse. Hopefully it's not too loud.
Good evening. You guys got any questions, just go ahead and put it up there for Greg.
Okay. Good evening, my name is Greg. This is Onae. Are there any spirits that want to talk to us tonight? Are there anyone here who used to visit and be a regular at this pub? Are you able to come through and say hi to us, please? Am I sitting in one of your chairs? Are there any family members, anybody who is here have a family member watching tonight?
You know, once again, anybody that wants to say anything, go right ahead. Ask a question. That's why Greg's got the box going. Candy, if you want to ask a question, go right ahead.
It's funny how we're not really getting a whole lot at the moment. It's not funny. I mean, it just goes to show that we never know what we're going to get.
Right. Hi, Barbara Damaris.
All right. Is that somebody's talking with us? That spirit? What is your name? Is there somebody with Candy?
Candy? Right.
Candy is wondering who is with them every day. So nobody is here. Nobody's here that could talk about if they live with Candy. Who does Candy think it is? Is there any spirits in the Pipestone area that want to come through and talk to us, please? I might switch things around in a couple minutes if we don't start getting something.
Okay.
Now, Greg, last time I was on, we got your parents, didn't we?
Right. My father.
Is Greg's father here? Could he come through, please? Did you feel anything? Do you want to talk? We also have a very large Native American community nearby here. Any Native American spirits that can come through and let us know you're here, please. I'm going to switch things up a little bit. We switched to AM now. See if maybe that might help. What is your name? Can you tell us your name, please? That was Dave. Dave came through. Yes.
I thought I heard Dave.
What's that?
I thought I heard Dave too.
Yeah.
That's what Candy was talking about down there. Her friend.
Yeah. Dave, do you know Candy? Could you say her name for us, please?
Yep.
Yep. Oh, happy birthday, Dave. You know you're not forgotten, right? Dave, could you say Candy's name, please? Oh, so you've been gone for, Candy says you've been gone for 11 years. I suppose time just kind of doesn't matter for you, does it? Dave, have you crossed over? Maybe? It sounded like you said maybe. Do you need help? Do you need help crossing over? Same voice. Note that. Same voice. If you need our help in any way, Dave, just let us know, okay? You can also talk to Onae, communicate to Onae. Did I hear Mark? Are you all hiding from us tonight?
Yeah. We're up in the corners.
Right. Well, they're not serving booze here yet, so that might be why. If we have booze, if we gave you booze, would you come out and talk to me? And they did. I just talked over them. What's your favorite drink? What do you like to drink? I don't know what that was. Was that a beer? Do you like beer?
Could have been Paps.
Paps?
Yeah.
Yeah, could very well be. You like Paps? You like some Blue Ribbon? I know that there's a lot of regulars here. Am I sitting in one of the regulars' chair? Candy thought said a fifth. Barbara thought Paps. We have it all. Is there anybody here who wants to speak to a loved one on either side? Is there any spirits here that know any of us? Can you give us a name of who you know here, please? I think I might switch again to a different frequency.
I think they weren't all in the room yet.
We're hoping you'll talk to us. It's kind of hard getting you down here, it sounds like. It's really interesting. There doesn't seem to be a lot tonight. You know, we've come down here. It doesn't mean that there's a spirits here. It's just like it doesn't seem like anyone's really wanted to come through this.
They're in the room. Nobody wants to come forward and say anything.
Yeah.
Nida had answered some questions for Nida that second or first time that you were on.
Yeah.
And Nida is on here tonight. If you have any questions for Greg for the spirit box, go ahead and post it.
Sometimes when we just let it like go,
yeah,
then you start hearing start getting like just letting it
do its thing. Whoa. Anybody got any questions? Damaris, ask a question.
Yeah, it's really interesting how sometimes, like we said, sometimes like we turn it on, as you've seen, Greg, we turn it on and suddenly it's like out of the gate. And then sometimes it takes like 15, 20 minutes, and sometimes it's for whatever reason. You know, as you all know, it's like spirit will communicate however they want. You know, it's like whether or not this is the way they want to tonight or not. I'm going to shut her down.
Damaris just had a question.
What about a friend named King? Okay. Let's see. Is King there to talk to us? King, can you come through for us, please? Damaris would love to hear from you. Normally I'll have other stuff set up and maybe they would come and use that, but, you know, maybe they just don't want to say a whole lot to me. King, are you able to say your name or Damaris's name?
Getting a little cold in there.
What's that?
It's getting a little cold in there.
It's cold.
Yep.
We're down in the basement. It's like the cold floors and but it's actually kind of nice in Minnesota at the moment, relatively speaking, right? It was 40 degrees today.
Yeah.
I came from 80 overnight.
You should have your stocking cap on and
I got my alpaca sweater. Every time I come here, I go to the Mall of America and I buy myself an alpaca sweater.
wow.
Is Miss Patty here? I feel like we're not going to really get anything through here.
Okay.
Yeah. We got Dave.
Dave did come through for Candy.
I'm going to shut her down. Thank
Yeah.
you. Oh, of course, as soon as I'm going to do it, then you start getting... And of course, I talk over it. Are you wanting to talk to us, or is it someone you want to talk to? Or if there's another way you want to communicate with us, you could do so. You can knock on a bar. You can make a light flicker. Anything you want to do. And before anyone says there's an exit behind us, there's cars going, so you're going to see lights. Okay, it's nothing to do with it's nothing to do with any sort of spiritual activity. Any spirits need to be helped crossed over? If you want help, let us know, but it needs to be clear, okay? Otherwise, if not, we will shut down this session.
Candy says, happy birthday, Dave.
Yeah, happy birthday, Dave. Thank you for coming through, Dave. I am going to shut down the session in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. It's funny, it depends on a lot of pieces to see if we get anything that comes through.
Well, it's going to probably happen 15 minutes from now.
Totally. I mean, that's just it, and that's what it's like.
That's exactly what it's like.
And it also could very well be that they don't want to talk tonight, or they don't want to talk to me tonight, or it is a number of things. Now, were you getting anything?
I was when Candy was asking about the energy that's around her.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting definitely a masculine energy because I was getting feeling on the right side. But there's a lot of masculine energy around her, so it's not just the one person. So, Candy, if you can hear me or you're still listening, I do feel it's more than just one energy around you. One is telling me that I feel like has taken on a guardian angel role for you and has because they're showing me the wings, as far as, they do this shrug of the shoulder kind of thing with me to let me know that they have their wings, and so that this person that you are focusing on and feeling has, I feel, crossed over, because they're also giving me the sign that they have crossed over and they got their wings. If that makes any sense to you right now. I'm getting the chills, so I think it's more than just being in a basement here. So
Right.
But also, I do feel, Candy, that there is a female that is also around you. She's making me feel like she keeps saying the word short. So I don't know what that represents. I'm kind of feeling maybe she was short in, like, as far as her height, but she's also making me feel like there's something more to the word short, and that you will understand what that means. So, but since I'm just talking to a camera and I can't communicate back and forth with you, just Oh, good. You do get visions of wings. All right, good. That's so. Thank you for that. I love feedback. That way, I know what I'm talking about half the time. So, but do know that there's something about short. They keep saying the word short. So I don't know if someone had a short fuse, or they're just short. But something about the word short, they won't go on more than that. They just keep saying short over and over in my head. So hopefully that helps you. I don't know. Did this person call you short? I don't know. Shorty. Okay. Okay, then yes, there you go. So these are the people that are around you, the energies that are around you. So it's family. They love you. They're giving me the little heart emojis going up. So that's a new thing now. I guess they like the emojis. But as far as
it's nice to see spirit is join the 21st century.
So, but and I'm going to leave that with you, hon, and I hope that helps.
Somebody said today they had made a mention pertaining to post an emoji, a heart, but they wanted it posted in green. And I'm like sitting there looking at my screen like, how the heck do you do that?
Yeah, it's mostly on the phones that you can do those emojis. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. All the things that happen and all the machines that we use, and of what extent we go to try to communicate. I think that, the SB7 and I picked up a Nanicon S from Katie Stafford.
Okay, yeah.
And I've been using that. I've been getting, because it's an automatic sweep on that machine.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a place that we go to that's like a old nursery building, and it's off a mansion. So that was, people worked in there, and we were picking up EVPs left and right. That's and the words that were coming through were pertaining to the building itself and the people that worked there. So it's sort of verified it for me more, because I was interested in coming up with something else, just, because of the fact that, I could have a spirit box stuck to me all the time. And like we had said earlier, the way it was explained to me from the very beginning when I was involved in those Estes method sessions, that that's your device. It's nobody else's.
Exactly.
So when you go to an investigation and, you're going to be using something else, and your SB7's laying there and somebody picks it up, that's not any good.
No, though I will say, because I agree, I think that I always say it's part of my hand. I think it's really part of me, but I have on occasion, and even though you can get SB7s anywhere, this particular one is like my baby. It's my first piece of paranormal equipment that I've had for years and years and years. I will pass it to somebody else if I'm not getting, I should have passed it to you, to be honest, to just see what happens, energy of a person. and just see if that makes any difference. I generally agree and say that I don't want other people using some of my equipment, but when it comes to certain things, it's interesting, especially when I feel like that somebody is getting targeted in a good way, not in a bad way. That's like, well, let's see what happens if it's, if you're holding on to it. Does it make a difference? Because that's what we do, right? Is we just see if things work.
I had Jeff Reisman on, and he's from Chicago, and him and his wife, Nancy, and they're exclusively spirit box people too, ITC.
Yeah.
And he had a Wayne's box that when he first got it, it took him, like he said, like 10 days of just turning it on and talking to it before it suddenly came alive.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that's a key part to what we're doing too, is because they want to know about you too, like you want to know about them.
Very much so.
So if you leave them, out in the lurch somewhere and just try to talk to them every blue moon, they're not going to go ahead and respond to you.
Tell them about your session that you had privately, where you were like, and they were like, "Who's there?" They're asking you, "Who's there?"
Oh,
that's kind of interesting. You were by yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's times that I do these obviously by myself, and sometimes I don't always record them, which is kind of it's kind of weird. But I mean, sometimes I just lay in bed and I turn on the spirit box and I just talk, and I'm talking to people, and a couple of things happen. I might have even said this the last time I was on, Greg, that I was feeling really bad about my cat AJ, and how if she died and she was in pain and whatever, and I couldn't save her, and I just said to her, "I'm so sad. I'm so sorry. I couldn't help you. I really wanted to make it good." And this little voice comes through. It's speaking in English. A little girl's voice said, "You tried," and it was very powerful. But then I'm just talking. It's something because I'm asking questions here, but when I'm doing it by myself, I'm just talking. I'm just kind of a train of thought. It's very personal when I do them on my own, and I'm just talking and I'm saying stuff. All of a sudden, a spirit or a voice comes through and says, "Who's there?" And it kind of
talking,
and it just and that isn't it, that makes it wonder, like, is this some sort of like other parallel sort of existence, like real like someone is trying to talk to us through a spirit box to another portal or something, and I'm the ghost. They're hearing me and they think I'm the ghost.
Or it's an old phone line,
like
the old community line where you pick it up and want to know who the heck is on the other side. Now, when you mention, every time I watch your show, and I'm going to bring up your father, because those are the shows that as I'm watching, I think there were like 2 or 3 people in there with you. Good 3. And it's amazing that, that it's being recorded.
It is. Last couple of times, not the last time, but a couple times before that, we, as you saw, I was having conversations with someone who I believe my dad through the flashlight.
Right.
And it's kind of tough because I truly believe that this isn't about me, and I know that I don't have a choice sometimes who comes and communicates with us, but I always feel like that it's a bit weird when I'm trying to reach out for other people's loved ones that, they come through, my loved ones come through, and I have to remember for myself, go with it, because you never know when you're going to hear from them again. It's not a given that you're going to hear your father come through a spirit box, or Onae's aunt coming through that we've had on a number of occasions. One of the times I was on, I had just recently, I was covering for Onae one night, and this woman came through on the chat, and she's like, "I'd like to reach out to my grandma De Lima," and I'm like, okay, he's just like, oh, that's a very unusual name. And before I could even say it, through the spirit box, Delima's name came through. You hear Delima. And it's one of those things that I personally try not to, I get really confused what I should do, because, you want to make sure that you're hearing the right thing before you start saying, oh my gosh, that's what I heard. Any little thing, you don't want to be like, oh, that was them saying yes. Oh, there we go. We're hitting it. But at the same time, it's like the woman who asked for Delima, she was the first one to say, I heard it. And I'm like, yeah, I heard it too. And it was, that's powerful. That's the stuff that one night we had somebody on who wanted to reach out to a friend of hers. And I just heard, like, we tried to reach out and we thought we might have got her. And then I heard through the spirit box a woman say, true dat. And I just, that's what you got to learn, like kind of like a non-blindfolded, non-earphone Estes version of, like, you just got to say what you hear. And I just said, I just heard true dat. And the same woman responded through the chat saying, oh, she always said that. And it was like, wow, okay, that's pretty interesting. And I'm just thinking even to myself right now, it's like I'm telling about these communications, kind of like the way that, like, somebody who plays football talks about their favorite plays that they've done over the years, like the stuff that just really sticks out and that you're just so excited to talk about, because it shows that, I don't walk into a room thinking I got to prove if spirits exist or not. I go into the room knowing that they exist, but how can we talk to them, and what kind of responses we can get?
Well, this whole, every time I have you on the show, and now
your viewership goes down.
If you could be on there with him, that would even be better, because it would make everything, brighten up the picture. Anyway, that's what carries me, is your shows, because it's like a feeding. It's the feeling we have. It's the curiosity. It's the question answering and everything else that's rolled into it. That if you're by yourself, as we all have been during this crazy period, that we don't have that kind of communication, but you're the one that sort of feeds me. And I'm sure all those other people that watch your show feel the same way. And that's what carries us.
Well, can I just say, Greg, though, that you do the same to me. I always see you on. I always see you listening to my radio show. I always see when I'm doing the lives, you're always catching it. And you've always been so supportive and so friendly and so helpful. And thank you very much for that.
It's great. I couldn't ask for anything better. Really. And I try to keep things simple in my life. And, the paranormal has got me always on the edge.
Yeah.
To say the least. You guys got to go. You want to go now and get your investigation going?
Yeah, I think we're all kind of getting a little. Okay. I showed them how well it works, so now we're ready to go.
You're gonna have people hooting and hollering all night long when that machine.
Everyone just is in awe of how well that I did with this. That they're just like, let's go.
Okay, Onae, Greg, thank you very much for being on the show tonight. I really appreciate it, as I always do. And here's for down the road. Let's do it again. And I'll be watching.
Well, and Greg, we'll get you on the radio show. Let's talk about getting you on. We can talk about all sorts of stuff that you've been doing.
Okay. That's tremendous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guys, it's been great. Good night.